I was trying to get on YouTube because I didn't think they were gonna fucking if they're gonna fucking be the kind of censor animals that TikTok has proven out to be, where they just like fucking um, censor you as soon as you say something that might melt a snowflake somewhere, instead of just blocking that snowflake from your stream, right? How you profane intellectual loud? That's what it called you. Who? Tommy Boy. What? I'm absolutely a profane. Correction. I'm a profane pseudo intellectual. Lee CGP. You got to be a certain amount of smart to know that you don't really know anything at all, man. And that's the issue we're dealing with the what is it? Um, Dunning-Kruger, right? On a global scale, right? We've allowed stupid people to elect a stupid, cruel, incompetent person, and now we have stupid, cruel incompetence everywhere running the country. Um, and so, if you can't see that they've undertaken an effort to suppress the vote because they know the vote is not going to go their way, because it really hasn't gone their way very much in a long time, right? So ever since Bush too, they've been stealing elections on their own side with my brother, the governor of the state that's in questions, just decided that this was okay. So we got thank you very much, gave us W. It's been going on for like this for a long time, and that's the electoral college, right? It needs to go. They need to fucking quit that shit. I feel like the chat is up, Luce. Did you get back on there and try to throw a chat at me? Chat, Lee. Oh, Chistly. There it is. Oh, you can't chat. Yeah, it was because it was for kids, and I don't know. They changed everything. I can't edit my thumbnail. I'm gonna have to. It used to let you do that right on the screen on YouTube, and it doesn't let you do that anymore. I gotta upload it, take someone else and upload it. Usually, it lets you take one right there in the moment, right? I don't know what the hell that's about. Did they quit that? But yeah. What's up, Debadozer? What's up, Happy Du Boys? What's up, Sabrina? Thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate you guys. I haven't Ricky Ticky didn't give you a shout out for that. Ricky Ticky. You get the diesel horn. Got all my stuff with me. Got the 8-ball. Got the magic 8-ball. This, of course, at least as a reliable source of information is God, my friend. God. Yeah, we're still out here swimming against the tide, trying to promote atheism in a world where we're looking at a religious apartheid coming, like Pakistan, where a few religious idiots, or Iran, where a few religious idiots are making the laws that the rest of the people have to follow, even though they don't agree with them. Here's my Bible. Buy my dollar bills. Buy my Bible. Send me Bitcoin. It'll be great. It'll be perfect. No one's ever seen anything like it. It'll be great. Yeah. So anyway, they know that they fucking suck. They know that nobody likes what they're doing. Do you see old Bleach Blondie? Who's a bigger ass kisser in the fucking universe? Let's call them out right now. Bigger ass kisser. They all have cabinet positions, right? Literally, they should have an Olympics for spittle licking in Congress. I am back on YouTube and the chat works. Thanks, Luce. Love you so much for being there. Find us on YouTube where we can really fucking rap. I didn't know you couldn't. If it was made for kids, you can't chat. All right. I guess that makes sense. But what if a kids show would be popular? Should do a science and philosophy show for kids on YouTube and teach people what's what. Check out YouTube, call it a Christian show, and then just like teach people all of the things that like other mythologies that mirror or reflect or influenced or outright were plagiarized to get us to Christianity. Don't you think? Educating the pubic that way. That might actually work. The Balrog is with us. Where you been, man? You shall not pass. Beauty Queen. Darth Trump will be. Yeah, I don't know if we can count on that. I literally, they're trying not to get. But I wonder, is it not going to backfire on them? Trying to get people to you need a passport to vote. That's what's going to happen. And they think that the poor black people are going to be able to get passports. So the fucking poor white asshole in Kentucky isn't going to be able to get his either, that wants to go vote for Trump. So I'm not sure it really works out in their favor. But it's an open air effort between the gerrymandering and the fucking and the voter suppression laws, the hours, and all of this crap. And now, in order to prove you're a citizen, you generally passport or birth certificate. That's what you need, right? Or a real ID, which you need one of those things to get, I imagine. They started closing passport options at libraries. You know, did you read this? Yeah, yeah. Um, they ordered that certain libraries stop processing passport applications. So now, people who want to be ahead of the game and have 165 bucks or 213 or whatever it costs can't even go and get it, make it harder. It's so obvious and so right out there for you. And there's literally like 38% of people who think that this is all above board, right? Yeah, hayseeds in rural areas don't have passports. We don't have to get one probably. But you watch those voting districts turn a blind eye and just let old Uncle Charlie vote because everyone's known him forever, like it should be. Everyone knows he's a citizen. Let his ass vote. How do you get a passport? You can go down to your civic, wherever your building is. We got ours pretty fast. There's wherever your civic center is, your city hall place, your village hall, wherever you live, you got one, and they have to do it for you. There's someone who will process it for you. Yeah, and the post office, I think, does it. Um, but I went straight to the my city hall. There's the people that do all your documents for the wherever your county, city, town buildings are. You can get one at Walmart. Sweet. Boyd Petrie, you don't need a passport, not yet. But they're and hopefully it won't. I mean, what is a hayseed? You never heard that? Scott Clower, my guy. MAGA Star Wars fans would call Luke Skywalker domestic. Yeah, this whole trying to spin protesters as anti-American is so dumb. There's nothing more American than protesting an unjust government. It's literally the definition. It's what we did. It's how we came to be. The parallels are right there for you. It's this whole, hey, watch out, Iran. Don't squash your protesting. We'll come and fight for those people's rights. But here at home, if you come out against glorious leader, literally the biggest pig that's ever taken the office, literally a human piece of shit, a guy with the personality of the shank of a turd, calling other places out. It's the hypocrisy is so fucking flaming that it blows my mind. It blows my mind. The snowflakery, from the right, and coupled with the doubling down on the lunacy from the left, right? I'm not, and anybody who's new to the show needs to know that I am not one of these fucking shrieking woke lunatics, and I don't have anything against wokeness. I don't use that word as a pejorative. I just don't know how else to describe it because that's what people know. The ultra progressive left is at least as bad in some ways, and that's who gave us this shit show we have. That's how we got here. They were so unpalatable that people in the middle were like, insurrectionist, criminal indicted felon, or crazy ass, screeching, no humor idiots who can't run the economy either. They gave Trump a chance. It baffles me. I would have voted for any mafia boss before I would have voted for this dude. He's literally the most corrupt piece of shit in the world. I love Bill Maher's quote. He's like, Trump didn't drain the swamp; he bottled it, and he's selling it off. Now there's deals in the works for Russia, right? He's behind the scenes working on, deals for their elements and theirs to get those assholes off the hook instead of just fucking ruining them right now. It's a joke, literally what we're living through. I'm happy that I'm healthy enough to see it, right? Because it's not really going to affect me. I'm an old man, see, but it's hysterical. I literally, as painful as most of it is, and as scary as it is, and they're really going to try to not have elections, or really going to try to put the military on the streets. They're doing everything they can to incite. Watched one battle after another last night. It's got a whole scene where the regime plants violent protesters among the peaceful protesters who then do something like throw a rock or something and give the fascists a chance to say, see, we're under attack. Now we need to bring in the army and do it. Who will have non-rigged elections? Death to NWO. What's NWO? Death to New World Order? Is that what that is? It's been reported fences have been put up around the Supreme Court last time. It's been reported fences have been put up around the Supreme Court. Last time was Roe versus Wade. Like right now, they're putting them up because people are going to get so mad. Yeah, yeah. The whole and honestly, all right. You know what? The Venezuela thing doesn't bother me as much as some should. The way he does it, yeah. Doing it unilaterally, yeah. All right, but the regime in Venezuela needed to go. We I I'm not on board with all of that and killing people who are floating in the water after they've already been blown up. No, and these are war crimes. And if there's any justice in the world, they'll all be brought up on war crimes later for it. But in the scheme of things, rather fight for our elections than fight for Venezuela, the fucking dictator, to come back. I think give me a break. But if you don't think it's not all corrupt and that all half of this money is just going into to the Orange Pigs fucking legacy account for him and his dirty fucking squealing, mewling pink hamster babies that he trots around like they were human beings. What scum? Literally makes me sick to my fucking stomach. You are very uneducated, Johnny Oglesby. I remember you. If your last name is Oglesby, you're a fucking hick. That's my fucking snobbish, my elitist attitude. That's one of those names. It's like Slocum. Oglesby grew up in the country with a house full of people. We do need to take action now. If you give a fuck about democracy, you need to get on it, man. Visibility restricted. Oh, they're on their way to kicking me off. So you call a piece of white trash, you get kicked off. Can I ask why Obama got away with second strikes and no one cared? Yeah, Obama didn't. Show me the video. Is there a video of Obama ordering strikes on people who were floating in the water after their boat had already been blown up? That's wrong too. If you can show me that, you know. But this is like all they do is say that. You watch Fox News, they'll tell you that. Well, they didn't do it. They didn't do it. Yeah, he's saving America. I love how it's the drug cartel's fault that Americans love drugs, right? If you fill a capitalistic niche, but you don't do it in a way that see if the drug dealers all like cut Trump in on the action, there'd be no problem, right? It's all about the money for him. But no, these poisoning our streets, poison. How about you tell your kids to stay the fuck off of drugs? And the demand would dry up. See, that's how economies work. That's how economics works, right? If people don't want the drugs, those people in the boats wouldn't have to come over. They'd be doing something else for a living. But right now, they're just trying to feed their families. Yep. If you tolerate this, then your children will be next. Thanks for the gifts, Johnny. We can't fight. Bandit Mark Laser, yeah. Trump is using the stupid to make himself greedy. Anyone who's still on board with this asshole, literally, did you hear Pam Bondi? But the Dow's over 50,000. Yeah, that's not really what we're talking about. Thanks for the obvious deflection. Even he's gonna have to get rid of her. She is so stupid. She looks like she bought those eyelashes down at the dollar store, right? You see these fucking. Wait till pretty soon she'll have the lips, right? She'll get her Mar-a-Lago lips pretty soon. I wonder how the Clintons are involved with this. Yes, that's some sad shit right there. You know what, man? And no one will say what everybody knows, right? I've been saying this since the first day. They can't run it like a normal kidnapping because they lost her, right? They took an old lady without her medicine. I think that sadly she expired and they don't know what to do, right? No, not one picture, no proof that she's alive because she's not. Sorry, it's just like what? It's going to be 3 weeks pretty soon. Yeah, the Clintons are scummy. What do you want me to say? Michael Feldman worked for Grover Park Savannahs, and I don't know what any of that means. Grover Park. Is that a guy or sounds like where the FBI runs out of? We're going back to Grover Park. Bandit Mark. Thank you. Yeah, this may be the stupidest man in the face of the earth. Yeah, I think he's being. You're doing a bit, right? Stands for truth, justice, in the American way. Lying, deflection, and Hypocrisy. That's the American way. And the Christian way. Don't turn the other cheek like Jesus would have done. Shove a bomb right up their ass. Really, they're not. They're not trying to make money. And again, you think I'm on the left? You're an imbecile. You haven't listened to one thing I've said, man. I am so the guy who's trying to take back the middle from weirdos on the extreme of both ends. Oh my God, I'm so sick of the fucking. Don't say this. Don't make a joke about that. Yeah, there is no God genius. This guy's like God, family, country. I love how family comes after God. That's always kills me. It's like, God, if Jesus comes back, I'm standing up for him. If my whole family denies him, I'm going to stand with him. And if I get taken away and my family stays there alone, I'm good with that because I love Jesus. There is no soul. People think there's a soul still. That's the great fucking thing, right? How's the knowledge that is recorded on your physical brain transferred to an ethereal, non-material, non-corporeal entity that you don't even know exists? Explain that to me. Angels are real too, right? And demons. Oh, poor sweetie. Comment, yes, deceidacy. There you go. See, now I tell you, I knew this guy's got a bit going. When you ask, what's up, Metallica? Matt Talica. Is that you, my guy? Matt Talica, did you get a new name? When you ask theists what a soul is, they never have a tangible answer, you think? Soul is just the way we describe our personality, right? Compared to other animals, we seem to have a spark, right? Where everybody's so different and they have their unique that makes them. That's why, okay, soul, but animals don't. They're just here for us to eat. Anyone who's owned a dog knows that they have just as much soul as we do. And it ain't nothing real. Ain't nothing that's going nowhere. Can't take it with you. That's because you ain't going nowhere. You're living proof of bad grammar. We know demons walk the earth. It's 2026, and this is you wonder how morons like Trump get elected. People who think demons walk the earth will believe anything. They constantly misuse the word energy too. It literally means the ability to do. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the opposite of entropy, right? That's true. Nancy Boudreau, what's up, Nancy Boudreau? Bonjour, Madame Boudreau. He put his life on hold to save our country. Scott Clower, my guy, where you been, buddy? I know you've been on. I saw you before. Minnesota was a prime example. Demons getting paid. See, this is the other thing, man. I've been protesting this crowd. I ain't seen a check yet, man. The whole narrative is so fucking for Fox News listeners, right? Immigrants are bad. I never met one I didn't like. Immigrants are criminals. Never met a criminal. I would choose a block of illegal immigrants to live on today before I chose a block of born-again evangelical Christian fuckwits who are literally the least Christian people on the planet. You think the way ICE treats people is Christian? But you get arrested if you go into a church to report a protest inside a church under the guise of disturbing people's worship. But people in the church are on board with that crap. I love it when people feel so obviously duped. The whole border problem is made up. It's made up scare tactics and shame on Democrats for going along with it. Yeah, okay, maybe they needed to do a better job of administrating it. Maybe it's not good to have people streaming across. We need to keep track of it. Okay. The whole lie about insane asylums, the worst of the worst, the criminal, it's like this broken record of bullshit over and over and over again. Broken record of bullshit. Bohemian, you're still the only one on over there on my monitors over here. My cameras are over here. Yes, Fox, and they admitted it. All you got to do is go look at the court transcript where the guy says, if anybody thinks this is a news organization, then they're wrong. I'm being kind, right? But they've come right out and say it doesn't matter. If the only evening news you get, you live in West Virginia, and the only station you get is Fox News, the evening fucking news comes on, you believe it like you always did. You remember Walter Cronkite. The news wouldn't lie to you. The government wouldn't lie to you. They count on that. They count on that. Rupert Murdoch and his fucking Fox News got in all these backwater burgs, bought up all these stations. There's people in the country, you don't, if you're in the city, you don't really realize this anymore. If you have a job and you can afford cable, you don't realize this. There are millions and millions and millions and millions of undereducated, dirty masses who are just nice people trying to feed their family, trying to worship God, trying to do good, and they believe what this criminal tells them. And if you don't think he's a criminal, then come play poker with me because you just can't read people. Even if you're a Republican, I'm considering running for office as a Republican to unseat some of the bobos because all she's got is yes men. Who wants a fucking government with no checks and balances? I don't care what side of the argument you're on. This is the problem. We've gotten to the point where these imbeciles on the far right will overlook the things that will in fact come and bite them right in the balls sooner or later, all because they're willing to jump on board with this demonization, this identity politic of us and them. At least I'm a Christian, at least I'm white, at least I believe this, at least I'm not gay, at least I'm not trans, I'm not that, I'm a Christian. Really? Why don't you look into what being a Christian really means before you try to talk that shit? The MAGA cult were the people who never used to trust the government. Now they believe, yeah, again, it's all about what you want and what you need. And we're starting to see cracks now, right? Because MAGA's not on board with the Epstein files bullshit. Silver the wordsmith. Thanks for the gifts, Bandit Mark, Lazar. Yeah, the world is becoming hell. You think this is already in the hands of the most corrupt people that have ever been? We need to all register. Well, that's what I'm saying. I feel like because we have a really shitty Republican rep who, even if okay, you don't agree because he's a Republican, he's just a shitty fucking. He doesn't do anything. He literally just echoes the administration's party lines. Like he's got no backbone. He's got no thoughts of his own. He's a stuffed shirt. He's a haircut. Well, apparently I'm worth your time, Bandit Mark. Try to learn how to use apostrophes, buddy. Even the non-yes men have to assure us that if they die, it wasn't an accident. Yeah, right? You saw that? It was Massey. Massey basically put out a post that he's not suicidal. He fears for his life because he's a Republican who's willing to stand up to what is clearly a regime that tries to silence people who speak out against it. And again, I don't care what side you fall on. If you're the kind of person who can't see that he's trying to silence his critics while claiming to stand up for freedom of speech, then you're just an asshole. You're just an asshole. He clearly is trying to silence his critics. He's put mouthpieces in place. He's put favorable news reporters in his pools and refused to let legacy media report because he knows they'll report on the truth and they'll ask the hard questions and they won't whitewash things and sugarcoat it like he likes it. It's so dumb. It's so dumb to think that it's good for us to have a president who doesn't want experts who will tell him when he's violently wrong. People have to get shot in the street in Minnesota for him to actually be like, say a few words of contrition, and not even contrition, really, just sort of backing down his rhetoric a little bit. We could have used a softer touch. Some of the shit that people are finally like, dude, if you ever want a Republican to win again, you need to quit with the shit. Rubio had to go and suck Europe's ass because he made such a boob out of himself with the whole everything, Greenland, and just shitting on the world order. What a fucking joke this guy is. The guy singing on TPUSA halftime just wants to kiss his fish. What? Who's less relevant than Kid Rock, man? Did you guys love? I love that, man. The halftime show was banging. The fucking halftime. Bad Bunny's a badass. Not a lot of it's not my jam, but I speak Spanish and I like salsa. I like dancing. I like a lot of Latin vibe. And the dude he minds world music and different styles and man, he's got a Puerto Rican accent that's hard to understand, but he's a worldwide star for a reason, man. And the whole thing about TPU as Turning Point and Kid Rock, literally. Who's less relevant than Kid Rock? He's a fucking joke and an imbecile and another too vain to take off his hat and show that he's has been bald forever. Just shooting cans of Bud Light with a fucking. That was pathetic. Pathetic. Oh my god! And the Obama meme. It's like, okay, try to pretend he didn't know or he didn't see or what. And I love the Obamas. Just take the high road. But yeah, literally we're living in just the rise in hate and the rise in white supremacy and this rhetoric and not just anti-Semitism, but just anti-everything. If you're not one of them, it's embarrassing. I go to this tiki bar, lovely joint down the road. These young kids took it over. They run it. It's got a great vibe. College kids. It's not crazy woke. It's not crazy anything. It's just a fucking place where people come together and have fun and sing karaoke. And somebody scratched the damn, crooked lines in the mirror on their. Freaking, I don't even want to say it. That'll definitely get me kicked off. And their mirror in the bathroom, and they're just, they're modern kids. They're Gen Zers. They don't judge people like that, and they try to set up a place where everybody is welcome and anybody can go and have fun. And some asshole does this, and it's just like there's some incel who's been egged on by this world class turd we got going on. The fact that guys like Kid Rock and Ted Nugent are the music, the Nuge, Kid Rock, isn't it? I love that Kid Rock euphemism for Epstein Island. Get the fuck out of here. Did you make that up? Oh, it's my guy James Ames. How you been, man? How you been, buddy? That's funny. Did you make that up? Be honest. He's James Ames. Been a while, bud. Yeah. American atheists stopped having their yearly. It costs too much money. Doesn't make any. We don't like it. Those guys stole from me, man. I'm so turned off by them. I'm waiting for them to reach out. Um, you did not make it up. Is that what you mean? Yeah, that's funny though, bud. Uh, who did he lip sync it too? Kid Rock. You know what? They threw it together fast. I was wondering about that. I'm like, how they and who else? A couple of country dicks performed. I've been to Puerto Rico. I understood the whole thing. Well, yeah, it was a genius show. What he was getting across. You didn't need to understand Spanish. It was beautiful, and I've been to Puerto Rico several times, and it was cool. It was like that. It's like they recreated a little taste of the island for people who hadn't been there and just kind of don't understand. If you can get past the 25% crime rate and unemployment, and it's you go down there and the people are lovely and welcoming, and you just want to have a good time, just want to party. Well, you're right, Lucy. And God, I love Green Day. The fact the administration hates them, and I've heard one of these dudes like, hate America. Green Day hates America. No, no, you're a putz if you think that. Green Day works on their craft. Kid Rock quit years ago. What was that? The one song he had was just a sample of the Leonard Skinner song. What a piece of shit. And Kid Rock was a talented guy. He burned his stupid mind out, and he's just I don't know. He doesn't. Like I said, he's irrelevant. He's irrelevant. Green Day not irrelevant. They're probably still making new music. It was Green Day? I saw Green Day a year ago, a little over a year ago, and it was fucking awesome. It was one of the best concerts I've ever seen. They're absolutely still on they're on their game, like U2 or Coldplay or any band that's just maybe they're not super current, but they're far from gone away. Green Day fucking kills it still. And you're right, it is funny. They're just about the same age as Kid Rock, but Kid Rock's been the washout for a long time, and kind of a joke, honestly. Yeah, the Dropkick Murphys, right? Has anyone ever met a likable atheist? What are you, an idiot? That's the part of the fucking media issue. We actually we have things like that where we all take a look at atheist content in popular media, and they're always sour pusses, right? It's odds are always grumpy, angry, like House, right? Like House in like that show. I never watched it, but I was just saying, I want to say Becker maybe. There is irascible, kind of grumpy old shitbirds, but one of the more consistent comments I get from people coming out of religion is that they're always surprised at how incredibly nice atheists are, and more moral and more well centered and more well balanced. So the fact that you don't like atheists probably has more to say about you than it does about atheists, buddy. But hey, welcome to the show. Thanks for your input, man. See, I'm likable in the beginning, and then people get to know me, and they're like, "Guy's kind of an asshole." Berman dude, what's up, Berman dude? Right? He doesn't know any. This guy James Ames, you couldn't hate him. He's the nicest fucker in the world, man. Yeah, if Seth Andrews, please. I mean, if you know like atheists, yeah, it's a patently ridiculous statement, but kind of funny. I get it. If you're out there, if you were the comedian, because the atheists that people can point to, Madeline Murray O'Hare, notorious. She was so shitty, she got whacked. But it's hard. It's hard to be smarter than everybody in your life as you go around. That's not easy. I've been saying that since I was like 8 when it happened for me. Oh, I'm an atheist and I try to be like, you're so likable, Blue. That's what I'm talking about. That's a comment. It's funny, but it's just, yeah, obviously. Dion, what's up? Dion the Shea is with us. Obama didn't blow up fishing boats, if I remember correctly. And they all do their shit. Nobody's defending the previous administrations. That's the other thing that kills me about these idiots. Oh, you don't think? Blah, blah, blah. Nobody's been corrupt on this level. Who else's net worth triples in 1 year? When does that happen to somebody? Unless your net worth was $10 to start with or something. That's anybody can see. Anybody can see this is all about him and his creepy family. If you think he gives a shit about you and your fucking Idaho ass, who's out there having bonfires and cheering for him like he was the savior, all you do, you just love him because he hates your trans neighbor. That's all. That's all. Just admit it. You just have a little creepy black heart and you don't want to open up your mind or your soul to any other fucking sick soul, to anything new. That's all it is. You hate change. You hate culture that's not yours. You hate what somebody tells you is a threat to America. That's all. You got no brains. I don't know. I didn't watch it for 1 minute. I saw the news blurb where they shot him up out of the ground. He tried to be young for a second, right? Jesus, Kid Rock. Yeah, you're not wrong. We're not wrong. We keep, but we continually prop up their infrastructure. If you go there, like they wouldn't have electricity if it wasn't for the government. I mean, they would be if we let them do it right. But the government goes down there, and that if there's a dam, it's got the U.S. government bureau that built the dam on it. If it's got there's an electric plant, it's because the government put it there and kept it running. It's like okay, not excusing any of that. I'm just when you go there, you see the reality of what it is. But then we won't invest in their success, in their education. We won't, help them succeed. It's again, it's just the whole thing is a ridiculously corrupt capitalist rat trap. And I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm not anti-capitalism. You just need to regulate against unregulated corruption and greed. Period. And you don't need to overregulate. I'm not that guy. But now Agent Orange has installed one of his cronies, a guy who owns the hotels that are already in the national parks, as the national park director guy. The whole thing is so ridiculously violently corrupt. It's not even funny. Not to mention the fact that they'll probably try to drill, right? He wants to drill, baby, drill, drill. Look at my big hands. I can drill. I can drill right down through Yellowstone. Fuck that wolf. I'll drill right through that bison's head to get the oil for my buddy who's going to give me a cut. Malik Rashid. A lot of Arabic numbers or letters came on. Can't read it. Sorry. Yeah, if they know they are running D-rugs, stop them and confiscate the D-rugs. Black atheist rats swinging by. Lore. I've always said atheists are some of Jesus' favorite people. Who else flips tables as much? Drew Silver. I love it. Right wingers complaining about raging against the machine, rage against the machine becoming woke is hilarious. Yes. Yeah. I don't know much about Rage Against the Machine, but it's at a certain point, you know, normal conservative folk in the middle are like, okay, you got to win elections on your merit, and if you don't, then the other side can't do a whole lot worse than your fucking corrupt assholes would have done anyway. So, my dad, lifelong Republican, uh, that kind of post Eisenhower Republican, finally started voting for Obama when it became apparent that W was just a puppet for the criminally cruel and toxically capitalist. Mark Anthony joins. Nobody is as corrupt as the president of Puerto Rico. Probably true. You know what? When I was there, I saw the two candidates for local office getting together and colluding. Right? They picked a spot. They didn't think anyone was going to be there, and they met at a bar. And I've been watching their opposing billboards all day long, all week long, all up and down every street. And uh, and there they were, planning shit together. Just the two of them. Nobody else. Like I wasn't going to recognize them, just on the beach on a bar that was abandoned in the daytime. So yeah, please. Well, I think unions in the day, being pro-union in the day made a lot more sense. But times change, my friend. The president of Puerto Rico is in Trump. I don't know. No, but it's a governor. Is there I think maybe he's talking about Trump. I don't think they call it that it's not a president. I don't think. Let's look. Top official in PR. It's a governor. Yeah, it's a Commonwealth. It's a Commonwealth with a governor. That's what that's what I would have thought. May as well be a state. I used to be hung up on the number 50. I'm like, the only reason I can think of to not make Puerto Rico a state is because 50 is just such a nice round number, right? Hey, there's enough, right? Who wants 51? It's gonna fuck the flag up. Where do you put it? But in the end, it's like, yeah, if statehood's what they desire, they should get statehood. I think it's popular. I don't really know. Yeah, that was the joke. Yeah, thank you. Donnie is the president of PR. Yeah, corrupt as fuck. But oddly thinks of Puerto Rico as an alien place. Doesn't seem to get that Puerto Rico is essentially a 51st state. And I think in a lot of ways, people have valid arguments why they wouldn't want to be a state. There is a certain autonomy and ability to be corrupt, right? Without that going on, but I think they'd rather have the full rights benefits of being a state. I don't know. Not Puerto Rican. I play one on TV. De vez en cuando. He wanted to trade PR for Greenland. And that's just stupid. That's just stupid. We don't got to trade anything. He's better off just taking it, like he said. We don't need it. We already have it for all intents and practical purposes. It's dumb. It's dumb to talk about it. There's nothing they're not going to let us do in Greenland when they need us to do it or when we really need to do it for everyone's security. It's just stupid. Just taking on that, talk about making bigger government. It's just going to take away more government resources to administrate a place that administrates perfectly fine. It's what's it got? How many people in Greenland? 40,000, 50, 300,000? Not many more than that. course they would. Nobody. Yeah. Of course they would. I mean, they made that point. They made that point, and Rubio had to look like the adult. Marco Rubio, piece of shit, bad haircut. Is this the bad haircut presidency or what? Good Christ! I, every time I'm turning around, I'm like, God Almighty, JD Vance looks like a fucking bowling ball that grew hair. Uh, uh, Christine Noel, what's going on, Grandma? Just quit. Friggin' Pam Bleach Blondie, bad hair. And the dudes, oh my God. Even Pete Hegseth, who's got a great head of hair, it looks oily and smarmy like he is. I want to shave them all bald. Trump has the worst hair of any president since I don't even know. Ike had the decency to just go bald. Biden had gross fucking hair. The cliff in the back. It's like, shave that shit out. How rich do you got to be to go to the barber and get a fucking tight ass cut? What in the fuck? And so Marco Rubio with this crappy comb over in the making had to go over to Europe and gargle balls because the atmosphere had been made so toxic. Mertz, who I love, he's so German. He's like 6'8". He just comes out. He's like, America is no longer good. They said now we are going to have to do it ourselves. The old world order has come to an end. We cannot count on them for anything. And he's not fucking wrong. Trump doesn't know anything, and he's got dementia. He doesn't know anything. The creeps that fucking want the Vots of the world who want to make this a Christian nation and rewrite the Constitution and the forget about what the founders are really about. They used him because of his populist appeal. Like always, there's always someone behind it. Or you think there's a deep state? There's a deep state. It's that hag of an old lady and vote. Who's the one? That lady that no one really sees or knows, but she had to come out and say some shit the other week. I don't remember. But in Miller, people like that, those are the people who are like, Trump, they like it. The idiots like him. Keep blitting. And then it's like, no, Jesus, stop him. What did he say? Oh, God, no, stop. You're giving it up. Because he can't control himself. He's giving away the game every time he fucking opens his mouth and says something stupid. But they're all behind the scenes. That's what they want to do. They want to install a government that controls the spread of globalism, that controls the spread of multiculturalism, that controls the spread of any kind of fucking progressive social philosophy. Trans people, interracial, it's all, they want it all to go away so that they can keep you all Christian and stupid and keep on voting them into power so they can keep controlling the dollar bill, y'all. Dollar bill, y'all. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's crazy. Metallica, are you Save Awesome Studio or are you a different dude? I feel like you've been around, but I thought you would have said so if you're the Mad Hatter. Noel Lemus. That's a name right there. Noel Lemus. The rarely seen Noel Lemus has come out on a Tasmanian night to search for its favorite prey. Okay. I know he's a metal fan too, and his name's Matt. He would have said something if he'd have changed his name on me and come on a long time. Well, welcome, buddy. I appreciate your hanging in and being a gifter, man. Here's Metallica. He was born in '89. He's Metallica. He's got metal on his mind. The Hilltop Hermit. What's up, man? Thank you for the gifts. Love you, people. Appreciate y'all hanging out today on a Sunday. We're gonna get off in a few more minutes. I turned over I googled something. There we are. Trump had that. If that's I don't think it's a wig. I think. Remember when Jimmy Fallon tousled it? He's just trying to hang on. He's trying not to be gray, so he blondes it, right? The thing is, the dude's never been good looking. Every time I see the old picture, I'm like, I've always thought he was a chinless, liver-lipped, gross, not good-looking dude. If he was good, if he looked like Gavin Newsom, that'd fix part of his problem. He wouldn't be such a fucking asshole. He figures he's entitled to the things he can't get on his own because he's just not a good-looking, smooth guy. It's 5:20 here. He's from the UK, is Matt. No, man. Yoni Godoy. What's I love to see that like TikTok. What? Just use one name. You know how you have a name and then you have a handle, kind of a username and a account name. I don't fucking know. Like it'll show me both. It'll say in the comments it'll call you by one name, and then it'll in the other and where it says invite, it'll use. And I'm like thinking I'm talking about two people, and it's not. I don't know Willie. You should meet Willie. He's very nice. Ed Jab. Remember that movie Free Willy came out? It was a big hit. It was a big hit back home in Oblizy. Free Willy. Who doesn't love it? Look. Bill Hicks. I don't know who's Bill Hicks. I'm not sure who Bill Hicks is, my friend. I'm not sure. I watched The Secret Agent last night. That's the last. I've seen all 10 Oscar-nominated films now. It was good. Best Picture. I don't know. Oh, I don't know who that is, man. Yeah, I fall into different ones. Depending on the mood I'm in. I'll hear some guys who are like from the north. If I'm listening to golf, we fall into that. And here's Faldo walking up the 18th fairway. Maybe they get that different accent if you're in the north in England, don't you? And they're all different. I love it. You go to Leeds and they get that. You go to Manchester and it's a little different, but they all have certain things in common. I love breaking down British accents. They're fucking hysterical. And look, all right. Was he a dead British comic? That's awesome. I show. Oh, American. All right. Maybe I do know him. I've never been a guy who follows comedians. I always end up getting jealous that I didn't do that. But yeah, I will. Bill Hicks. The British cartoon Wicked Willie. Which one was Wicked Willie? Don't feel like I know that one. Bill Hicks. Well, no time like the present, right? I had my computer updated and they gave me back Yahoo. It's about the antivirus that I pay for without knowing it every year. I hate fucking. I have such a love-hate tech relationship with my goddamn computer. Bill Hicks. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe when I look at his picture when he was young, maybe. Huh. The last great social satirist, the true descendant of Lenny Bruce and Pryor. Pancreatic cancer at 32. Wow. Uh-oh. I had to put the puzzle piece back in place, man. So he was an American comic who did silly British accents as well. Yeah. Yeah, interesting. It's 11:24. I got a few more minutes for you folk. Brett Klein is with us. More Arabic letters. What's up, my friend? Assalamu alaikum. Titanian. Titanian. What is this? YSB Draco. YSB. I love all the characters. How do you guys find these wacky characters to put in your usernames, man? I'm jealous. I don't really know how to do that. It's like I know enough about tech and social media and apps to get myself through as an old boy. Wow. Never got to play big venues in the U.S. because he was so political. Yeah, Lenny Bruce was, the same way, really, right? He's in the end kind of an underground comedian. Played the Dominion though, did he? Nice. Well, that's sad. But again, the UK ahead of the curve on a lot of these kind of things. It's just sort of the way it is. You ever notice that about that? Things really pop off in London, then someone in New York is like, eh. And then they do it in New York, and people think New York invented it. I've been watching that since the 70s, man. It's like kind of the way it goes, you know. But here's where the money is. That's where the market is, right? So that shit like punk, you know. It's like, all right, maybe, maybe, mommy, daddy issues, ska me. Yeah, I don't know, man. You couch that they have an entitlement uh, kind of sensibility that um, I'm sure sociologists and historians will struggle to explain for a long time. But yeah, I think you're not wrong. But part of that is the change in parenting that came about, and I think there's a lot of good things probably about the change in parenting and a lot of bad things. And I think most old school conservatives, still fall in that sort of spare the rod, spoil the child kind of category. When I think it's pretty well established that no good really comes from hitting your kids ever in any kind of way. Uh, yeah, Hendrix, absolute prime example. Yeah, there's a lot of cases like art, and it's not just music, right? Yeah, I think the progressives have issues that they need to address if they're really gonna drag society forward in the way that they want. And one of them is that it's that humor that if you can't take yourself less seriously, I don't know how to help you going forward. If transgenderism, if you can't objectively step back and see some humor in all of that, then I think you're really doing yourself a disservice as a transgender person. It doesn't do any, and gay people learned this a long time ago, right? You can't. You have to kind of embrace that difference in order to shock people into accepting you. You can't openly call attention by whining about you need to accept me. You just need to be yourself, be brilliant, be fabulous. But don't tell people how to think. Let them come to it on their own. That's you know, and I think self-deprecating humor has served my gay friends for a lot of decades. And I think a lot of them are tired of the ultra progressives kind of forcing people into a transgender box when they were probably just a gay kid who would have been happy being gay. Yeah, it's a big topic, but there's a reason we didn't hear about transgenderism when we were young. There was gay people, closeted people we called transvestites, right, cross dressers, things like that. But the people aren't substantially different. They've just discovered a new way to couch it, right, in the new age. So, um, yeah. So I think that yeah, the progressives have a long way to go before they really. It's about the fight for the middle. It's about a fight for the middle. I keep seeing these memes on both sides, or just posts from bloggers who are like, "This is a fight for the nation's soul." One side wants America to suck ass and apologize for who we are. Like, no. And then the other side is like, one side wants to be fascists and schmazzies and take. And I'm like, no, not really. There's hype. This hype on both sides is just not fucking productive. It's bad. We need to quit it. I'm gonna get to work doing stuff that kind of promote that agenda. We're heavily involved in the resistance here, and really, I'm gonna try to just spin it as talk about common sense. That's another hypocrite. This common sense. These fucking country monkeys talk about common sense, and then they do the stupidest and most non-common sense things. Common sense, but let's deny vaccines. No. No, you lunatics on the right are no more involved in common sense than the fucking lunatics on the left. The people with actual common sense understand that the middle ground is where the people are. We want to move civic progress forward for the betterment of everybody without fighting over the 3% of imbeciles on either side of the spectrum. I'm going to leave you with that. I love you guys. You're the awesome. Yeah, there were trans people that got sex change. Remember Renee Rich? It happened very, very rarely. People were like, this is me." They've always been there. Again, this is just and the people who don't want to see it don't like it. They don't like it. But again, it's not. We don't need to be teaching people that they can question their own gender when they're really not already, and they don't have any business thinking that way when they're 7. There's a middle. They're not wrong about that. So leftist activists are a danger. They really are. It's bad. We need to get rid of that, and we need to get rid of really getting because it's killing people, right? And they pretend it's not every day. Like, oh, the left is so much more violent. Meanwhile, we got nice whacking people on the street. All right, love you guys. Only Lane, I love you. I'm sad I missed you. We're getting off right now. It's 11:30, and my eyes are tired. Got to get some. Thank you, Dion Lachey. Appreciate you. Spread the word. We're on YouTube. Get there, people. Love you guys. One last toot for my gal, Bohemian. That's for you, Bohemian Lucy. Bye bye, Scott. Love you guys. See you, gal. Love you.